recording. There we go. Sorry about that. Yep, I'll start again. Our speaker today is Reverend Carol Willis. Reverend Carol was involved with the Unity Faith for more than 25 years, mainly serving in youth ministries. Her interest in the metaphysical aspects of Christianity led her to the Center of Enlightenment, where she has been an ordained minister since 2015. Reverend Carol is currently the treasurer on our board of directors, and she teaches great courses, including spiritual economics and understanding the Sermon on the Mount. Please welcome Reverend Carol Willis.
Thank you, Reverend David.
You're welcome.
And if my Greek brother-in-law were here, he would say, Christos Synesti, which means Christ is risen. And there's also a response, but I've never learned the response. The response is, yes, Christ is risen. He no longer is associated with the Greek Orthodox Church, but his son is, so that's kind of interesting. Our talk today is about let go, rise up. Lent is a 40-day period before Easter Sunday. It's a preparation time of prayer and fasting, a time of letting go to make way for something better. We release the old and embrace a new truth. Lent is to Easter what Advent is to Christmas, the time of preparing the soul for a new birth, a new consciousness. In order for Jesus to have this resurrection experience, he first had to have a crucifixion experience, a releasing experience. Even for us, releasing is sometimes painful, sometimes difficult, sometimes we're unsure and we waver, but that's okay. However, it's necessary we let go in order to receive and make way for the new truth. During his ministry, Jesus began to discover those states of consciousness that had to be overcome if he was to complete his soul's mission. Today, I will be touching on 7 important states of consciousness. To examine, and we're going to deal with 7 today. So ideas for today's lesson came from this Unity booklet, and I'm still a Unity student 50 some years later.
There you go.
You can tell that I started as a young person, but this is a great book. They put one out every year at just before Lent, and they put out one for Advent as well. And the ideas that I'm going to share with you are by Ellen Davenport, Reverend Ellen Davenport. So the first one is, Jesus let go of human ego. Number 1's a big one. Let go of human ego. Right after his baptism by John the Baptist, okay, pages are sticking. Jesus was led into the wilderness to face 3 temptations. These temptations pitted his human desires against his spiritual desires. The entire story can be found in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11. These temptations illustrate a battle within Jesus and his ego and will versus his willingness to follow Spirit. He was learning to not use his spiritual power for selfish satisfaction, success, or power. Number 2, Jesus let go of others' approval. Jesus was not always approved of because he said he came to fulfill the law and not destroy it. The scribes and Pharisees criticized him for healing on the Sabbath. And even more than that, they became very threatened by Jesus and plotted against him. Jesus was not even respected in his own town of Nazareth. He was just the son of Mary and Joseph the carpenter. Who does he think he is? Was the thinking of the people in Nazareth. They didn't see him as anything great. They didn't even respect him. He was just a guy. Number 3, Jesus let go of worry. None of us can go forward and accomplish anything when we're steeped in worry, and we've all been there. Jesus had many teachings about the care and keeping of us in God's presence. The essence of those teachings was the idea of trusting in God and trusting the God presence within us. We're not able to worry and trust at the same moment. Sometimes we go back and forth until we cross that 50% mark and start to move totally into trust. We must choose one or the other. Jesus taught that worry would not add even 1 hour to our life span. Trust in the attitude we strive for. Worry adds nothing to us. And I don't know about you, but I've laid awake at night steeped in worry about what was going to happen the next day that I felt I couldn't control. Anybody else been there? Absolutely. Hands are going up. And you know what? The other people that were in the situation were sleeping peacefully, and I was tossing and turning all night long. So we have to choose. Number 4, Jesus let go of fear. Jesus had a great mission to accomplish, and along the way, he faced many unsettling challenges. But instead of worry and fear, Jesus exercised trust and faith. We have read that Jesus calmed a storm while in a boat on the Sea of Galilee. He healed a blind man and a sleeping girl. He turned water into wine. He raised his friend Lazarus from the dead. He fed 5,000 people with one little boy's lunch, and much more. Jesus had more than faith in God. He had the faith of God. It makes all the difference, because when we have the faith of God, we are perfectly aligned with God, and we know that we're one with God. And so Jesus had faith of God to heal, bless, and prosper everyone and everything he touched. Number 5, Jesus let go of being right. We've heard this so often. Would you rather be right or happy? Jesus never spent time trying to explain himself, who he was, why he was here, or how we could think about him. He let go of the need to be understood. His mission was to get people to understand the truth and their relationship to God. When Jesus was arrested and put on trial before Pilate and Herod, they both questioned Jesus, and he never really defended himself of the charges against him, which we know were false. Pilate could find nothing wrong, but he had Jesus in prison because of pressure of the Pharisees and the public criticism. Number 6, Jesus let go of the outcome. This is a big one. Jesus let go of the outcome. When Jesus made his entry into Jerusalem on the donkey colt, he knew his life was in danger. He began to let go of outcomes by letting events unfold without his interference, trusting in his highest good. Jesus experienced the betrayal of Judas, the denials of Peter, the arrest at the Garden of Gethsemane, the trial, the crucifixion, the burial, and finally the resurrection. I don't know if I personally could have made it through all of that. We do every day on a lesser level, but this is a real example to us about being able to let go. And when we let go of these things that don't serve us, we allow ourselves to rise up into a new life. Number 7, Jesus let go of physical life. The Easter story tells us of crucifixion, the tomb, and resurrection. Every day we too have these same experiences as loss, void, renewal. Every transition has these 3 stages. Sometimes it's described as end, void, beginning. It's very similar to this: loss, void, renewal. In our physical lives, even when we all finally release our physical body and move on to our next life experience in spirit, on the spirit plane, it will be a time of healing and renewal, not a final end to our life. It's rather a new beginning for the soul to continue to live, grow, and possibly reincarnate. We can come back and do it all over. Maybe even better. As you leave today, Reverend Lisa is going to be at the back door with a bunny basket. There are plastic eggs in the basket, and I invite you to choose one, any one, and inside is a blessing and a gift for each of you to work with for the next 30 days, and it will help you to release and rise up. And with that, much love and light to you all. Thank you for coming this morning. God bless you, and happy Easter.